Hey everyone, welcome back to While You Were Cleaning. Today I have some Dollar Tree spring decor DIYs to share with you. All of today's DIYs are so very simple to put together, and I hope that they do give you some ideas of some decor that you can add to your home for spring. So we will go ahead and we'll get started on today's DIYs, and thank you guys for joining me. Starting off our DIYs today, you will need some flowers. Any flowers that you love from Dollar Tree will work. I found these earlier this year and I just really love the color and just the look of them. So I'm going to use 3 different bouquets of these flowers, but you can pick up whatever you like from Dollar Tree, however many flowers that you want. So I cut them off from the main stem and then I just pushed the leaf part of them up a little bit closer to the flower so that it leaves this nice long stem part. Then I'll be using this masking tape. I found this. I don't think it's a Dollar Tree brand. I do really like how it has the green stripes on it. You could use some washing tape or some different masking tape that you might be able to find there at Dollar Tree as well. Whatever you can find should work for this to hold these flowers on the wall. I went ahead and pre-tore off some 2 to 3 inch pieces of masking tape, and I just stuck those to the back of a chair so that I could just pull them off and add these flowers to the wall quickly without having to stop and tear off masking tape each time. This masking tape is great. It does not pull any paint off of the wall, or at least it hasn't pulled any paint off of my walls, so I think it looks great as well. I think it does look a lot like a washi tape, so makes me pretty happy. And here I had to also share with you my cat Coco. She was sabotaging this whole DIY. She was pulling down these lower flowers on the wall after I already added them. She was also knocking the flowers on the floor before I added them to the wall. But anyways, here's how that DIY looks all finished, and you could do such a large area for a great price. Next, I have a super simple DIY using this frame. This is a 4x6 frame from Dollar Tree, and then I'll be using some of these stickers. They have some really great patterns in these stickers. I like the greenery of these ones. So first you'll have to remove the glass from your frames. It does have 2 sheets of glass there, and then you'll have to remove this little paper sheet, and it does leave some residue on the glass. And then I'm just going to add some greenery to this piece of glass so that it looks like I have some pressed greenery framed. So I really like the way that pressed greenery looks when it's framed, so I thought these stickers would be perfect for that. If you'd rather have something with a little bit more color to it, they do have some flower stickers there at Dollar Tree as well that looked like they're pressed, so I really like the look of those ones as well. I don't think that I own any in order to show them to you, but I just did a few like these, and I just love the way that these frames turned out. They're just a nice little touch for spring. Here you can see how they look all finished. They also have this frame with a silver edge around it, and then you could use some other frames there at Dollar Tree as well and just remove the backing on them if you wanted something bigger. Next, we're going to be using some pink yarn. We'll also be using some wire. You can pick that up at Dollar Tree, and then some of this floral tape. This one I got from a different store, but it's just what I had on hand. So you'll start off by wrapping some of the yarn around your fingers several times. I did about 10 times, and then once you have that looped around, you'll add a wire to hold all of that together, and then you can see here how that looks. I just went ahead and trimmed off some of that so it was straight across the top, and then I used a couple of these pointy skewers to fluff up the end of this pink yarn. The skewers pull all of that braiding out of the yarn, and then it's a little bit fluffy there on the end as well, so you'll have to take some scissors and clip off that fluffiness so it looks like just this really cute pom-pom flower. Next, what we'll do is we'll take some of that floral tape and go ahead and wrap it right around the very bottom of that yarn and then down your wire piece to cover up the wire so it looks a little bit more like the stem of a flower. I made 5 of these, so then what I did was I arranged them at different heights and then went ahead and just kind of pre-arranged them before adding them to a vase. Once I had them at the correct heights that I wanted them to be, I went ahead and twisted the wires together to hold them in place. And then I added them to this really pretty white vase that I picked up somewhat recently at Dollar Tree. They had a couple different colors of these vases. You can see how those look. You can make these in all different sizes and colors as well. I just really love how they turned out. Next, I'll be using one of these welcome decor wreath type signs and then just a bunch of greenery that I already had on hand and then some flowers as well. So I wanted to make sure to show you here which ones are the ones that I used, but of course you can use whatever you might already own. That way you don't have to go out and buy anything extra. I also love this ribbon. It's one of my favorite ones from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use 2 branches from each of these different greeneries. So I just went ahead and pushed the greenery to the top there so that it wasn't as spread out along the stem of this branch. And then for these fern type branches, I went ahead and just cut one of those in half. So then I'm just arranging them going off to each side at the bottom part of this frame. And I used these berry type branches from this other greenery stem as well. So the nice thing about these having wires is you can bend them to go along with the curve of the frame. Once you get them all arranged the way that you want them to be, then you can go ahead and wire them down at the bottom, and then I would also go ahead and add a wire about halfway up this greenery as well so that it doesn't fall down when you go to hang it up on the wall. And I just added that there for just some extra security. And then I just went ahead and repeated those steps on the other side. I did make both sides of this wreath identical, so just make sure you secure it nice and in place with some wire, and you won't have to worry about it looking all funny once you hang it up. And these wires that I added up a little bit farther, I just put those through that fern piece and then that foxtail type greenery piece just to hold those in place, and I just tried to hide them back behind the greenery. Then I pushed the greenery a little bit closer in the middle, and then I took this ribbon and I tied a small bow out of that. And of course you can use whatever ribbon that you might be able to find. You could also just add some other florals to the center if you didn't want to add a bow on there. To attach my bow to the wreath, I went ahead and threaded this small piece of wire through there and twisted it on the back of the bow, and then went ahead and twisted that right in the center bottom of this wreath. A wired ribbon might be a little bit easier for this to hold your bow in place, but I don't think they have wired ribbon in this width there at Dollar Tree, so maybe if you have some other ribbon from someplace else on hand. And here is how that DIY turned out. I love this one. I love these little decor signs. I'm hoping they get some in with some different words as well. All right, so those are all of my spring decor DIYs that I have to share with you today. I hope that you guys have really enjoyed this video and that it has been helpful for you. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's video and for supporting my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!